Brothers and sisters, I'd like to testify about something that just happened last week, the day that my son received his paycheck and his bonus. My son was close to our home in the city of Bogota, Colombia, and two vehicles approached him, and 5 men and a woman approached him and threatened him. They took away his cell phone and his watch, and they made him put his thumbprint on his cell phone to open it up and access his bank account. And he had just received his paycheck and his bonus. They also had access to his credit cards. At the same time, my older son was on the other side of the city in class, in college, and suddenly he received a transfer of a large amount of money from the bank account of his younger brother. And he thought, why did my brother send me all this money? I don't understand. And it turns out that the Lord worked a miracle. The thieves wanted to steal all of my son's money, but the Lord protected him by sending the money to my other son. And the credit cards could not be accessed. They couldn't take one dime from the credit card accounts. I testify to give honor and glory to the Lord.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. I testify to exalt the name of my Heavenly Father, of the fulfillment of His promises, of the miracles that He has done in my life, and the support that God has given our beloved Sister Maria Luisa. The Lord has told me that He has protected my life. I share with you, brothers and sisters, that when I was in my mother's womb, she suffered a witchcraft. Given this reason, I was born with a spirit of suicide. My family recalled times where I was walking outside and I would throw myself against moving vehicles, or I would try to jump off buildings. However, the Lord never allowed for anything bad to happen to me. And the Lord allowed for my mother to get to know our church when I was a child, and in His holy mercy, He delivered me from that spirit. On the other hand, the enemy attacked me constantly when I slept. He tormented me with bad dreams. Even so, the Lord allowed me to attend a Bible study with Sister Maria Luisa, and in her final prayer, I prayed to God for the situation. And the Lord delivered me in that same instant. Never again did I have bad dreams. Brothers and sisters, even though my mother attended church since I was very little, I didn't attend. But the Lord would tell her not to worry because He would be bringing those little ones one by one to His church. And when I was an adolescent, the Lord placed that desire in my heart to seek for Him. I remember that in His first prophecies, He told me that I thought that I was alone and that no one was listening to me, that I desired to have peace and happiness, and that He would be granting me that He had allowed me to see how the life was for those persons who didn't have Him in their hearts. When He made me this promise, He conquered my heart. He made me fall in love with Him. Although the enemy made me see those promises as very far away, I prayed to God and I told Him that if I was failing in something, if He could show me. And He answered by telling me not to lack or miss any of the Bible studies and any of the sermons, that He would show me that what I should change. In one occasion in a Bible study, in the end of the service, God gave a general prophecy through the lips of our Sister Maria Luisa, and He said that He would be rewarding His children, but He would be punishing many of those who had asked Him to take away their lives, because the pathway of the Lord was for the strong and courageous. After the service, I prayed to God, as our sister and pastors constantly teach us, by humbling ourselves to the Lord, recognizing our faults, asking Him for forgiveness, and reminding Him of the promises and the petitions. I asked the Lord for forgiveness because I had wanted to be with Him very soon. But I said this out of ignorance, and I had made a mistake. I presented to Him the fact that I was in depression, and many times I was unable to reason since the sadness was very profound. I wasn't able to eat, to speak. I was unable to get up from bed or socialize myself with other people. And I told Him that I committed myself to never again have those thoughts. And I told Him to deliver me by His mercy, because a heart that has seen Him and has Him within cannot be saddened. After that prayer, the Lord spoke to me and He said these two words: "And I have heard your prayer. Be strong and of good courage." And when the Lord finished speaking, I felt as though a rock had been removed from my chest, and those continuous episodes of depression went away. I testify that the Lord delivered me, and He has filled me little by little with His happiness and His peace. Also, I testify that He told me that He would be healing a loved one for whom I prayed very much, and my mother suffered constantly with coughing. And a little while ago I called her and she told me that the cough that she had had for many years, the Lord had taken away. But also that in the midst of a prophecy, God told her that he had operated on her without her even realizing it, since she didn't like to go to the doctors. And she had a mass in her abdomen, and that the Lord has healed her. Lastly, I testified that the Lord made me the promises that he would bless me intellectually, that he would support me, that I would see how the assignments would become more difficult with time, but that I should not worry because he would allow to have high grades. He warned me that the enemy would be trying to make me feel incapable, but that I should not doubt the intelligence he had given me. Once these prophecies were made, my grades began to get better. They began to get higher. Also, in one occasion, I had to present a final assignment, and it was a quarterly assignment. But this work had become very difficult. I saw how my peers were moving further ahead in presenting that project, and it was quite well. But at the end of the course, the teacher told me that I had chosen a topic that was very complex, that it was a topic that she said no one should choose. But even so, she gave me some tips additional. When I presented the final work, I said, Lord, you have made me the promises. I know that it is not the intelligence of man, nor the wisdom of man, but instead it is you that gives the wisdom and intelligence to men. As such, I will wait upon you. And perhaps if they return that work to me again, then I will present it once again. But I know your promise will be fulfilled. When the teacher handed the assignment back to me, she told me that even though the topic was very complex and difficult, I had worked a miracle and that I had received the highest grade of the course. And I said it wasn't me who worked the miracle, but it was God, because God is the one that gives first places, the wisdom and intelligence to men. All of this I testified to exalt the name of my Heavenly Father.